I enthusiastically declare my candidacy for governor of the state of New Jersey.
Former U.S. Attorney Chris Christie makes it official. He's seeking the Republican nomination for governor, pledging to fix Trenton and promoting fiscal responsibility. Well, it's been known for some time now, but today Chris Christie officially announced he's running for governor. Christie swung through the state, making a number of stops to pledge change in state government and to promote his agenda. Now, State House correspondent Zachary Fink is in our Trenton newsroom with more on the Christie announcement. Zach?
Jim, Christie made 4 public stops today, 2 of them to announce his candidacy, one in Newark and one in Haddon Heights, Camden County. And the GOP hopeful made 2 diner stops to greet voters, one in Hamilton Township, Mercer County, the other in Westville, Gloucester County. His message was a familiar one in politics, that New Jersey, Trenton in particular, needs to change the way it does business. Before a packed house at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in the state's largest city, Chris Christie took his boldest step yet in his quest to lead New Jersey.
As U.S. Attorney for the past 7 years, I learned that making the tough and right choices always leads to success. We tackled issues and problems that many said were impossible to solve.
Born in Newark in 1962, Christie emphasized his humble roots and his New Jersey credentials. In 1987, Christie joined the law firm of Bill Palatucci, who has managed the presidential campaigns of GOP candidates in New Jersey. Christie eventually befriended George W. Bush, who appointed him as U.S. Attorney in 2001. It was in that office that Christie built his New Jersey reputation, going after public officials in corruption cases and eventually amassing more than 125 convictions against well-known figures, such as former Newark Mayor Sharpe James, former Camden County Senator Wayne Bryant, and former Senate President John Lynch. Christie also served as a Morris County freeholder and lost a race for state assembly. But the former prosecutor says today he is ready to lead and will do so responsibly.
If I am fortunate enough to win this election, I will not spend 1 minute, not 1 minute, worrying about a second term. I will make the tough decisions without sticking my finger in the air to see which way the political wind is blowing. We will do the right thing.
It's been assumed for some time that Christie would seek the governorship, but it wasn't known until earlier this month when he took the first official steps. After making his announcement in Newark this morning, Christie boarded a campaign bus and headed to Hamilton in Mercer County.
Christie equals Bush.
I said, hey,
no more Bush.
There, he was met with protests, even though the campaign was officially just 3 hours old. Christie greeted voters in a diner, but it was during his Newark appearance where he made his strongest policy pronouncements.
We are no longer competitive as we watch business after business lured away by other states. Why do they get it and Trenton doesn't? Our government taxes too much, our government borrows too much, and our government spends too much.
Among his other policy priorities, Christie says he will help revitalize the state's cities and will not force local communities to share services. He even took a swipe at Governor Corzine for pushing too hard on consolidation. It was not Christie's only mention of the governor.
The fact is he's disappointed us. He hasn't delivered what he promised. And, you know, he said at his inaugural 3 years ago, I was there, he said, hold me accountable. Well, elections are about holding public officials accountable.
Now, critics have asked whether Christie's prosecutorial experience is enough to qualify him for governor. The Republican candidate seized on that today, saying prior to becoming U.S. Attorney, he had never prosecuted a single criminal case. And soon enough, he will also learn the necessary skills required to govern. Of course, he's not the first U.S. Attorney to cross over into politics. Rudolph Giuliani built his reputation at the Southern District in New York before being elected twice as the mayor of New York City. I'm Zachary Fink, live in the newsroom. Jim, back to you.
Thank you, Zach, for that extensive report.